Welcome to Psalm 130. This is one of about 6 or maybe 7 penitential psalms. That means that kind of saying sorry psalms, I suppose. I think Luther called this one a Pauline psalm. It's so in line with the New Testament. It almost feels like Paul himself wrote it, which he didn't. But let's have a look and get a feel for Psalm 130. It's a powerful psalm. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the voice of my pleas for mercy. If you, O Lord, should mark iniquities, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, that you may be feared. This out of the depths at the start, this is a kind of a cry of desperation, isn't it? A hopelessness. My mind sort of imagines almost like Jonah falling off the ship and just sinking down into the depths. It's a kind of a overpoweringly depressing type of image. I mean, he's crying out. This isn't Jonah. This is the psalm writer who is not named, although I think it is David. And I'll show you why in a second. But out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive. There's this kind of desperate cry and a realization that if God were to keep track, then who could stand? And the answer is nobody. If God were to keep infinite detail of every little transgression and iniquity in our lives, who amongst us could stand before him with head held high and chest puffed out? The answer is absolutely nobody. However, look at the but here. But with you there is forgiveness, that you may be feared. God is not just a record keeper. He's not just a judge. He's one who forgives, and the forgiveness of God changes everything. And so we've got all of this kind of overwhelmingly negative, fear-filled hopelessness, but with God there is forgiveness. And so there's a slight shift in the darkness now, a slight shift in the tone. Notice verses 5 and 6, I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I hope. And so instead of the hopelessness of before, we've now got some hope, like a watchman waiting for the morning. My soul waits for the Lord more than watchman for the morning, more than watchman for the morning. That's an unusual straight repetition of a line there. Typically, you don't get that. You get a sort of development line on line. But notice this whole imagery here from verse 5 to 6. It's still darkness. It's not the depths of the kind of the ocean rolling over the top of you, that kind of despairing hopelessness. Now it's kind of the darkness of nighttime, but there's hope in it. Because the Lord is one who forgives, there is hope. And so this psalm writer is anticipating, he's waiting for the Lord. And so in light of that, verses 7 and 8, O Israel, hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is steadfast love, and with him is plentiful redemption, and he will redeem Israel from all his iniquities. And so we've got this kind of declaration of good theology at the end, sort of a declaration to the people of Israel. This phrase here, O Israel, hope in the Lord, sounds very psalm-like. Actually, I think it only appears in 2 places, here and in the psalm that follows. And you'll see in the psalm that follows a potential continuation of the thought of Psalm 130, and it's identified as being written by David. That's why I think David wrote this one as well. Not a big deal, doesn't matter particularly. But the big point of Psalm 130 is that without God's forgiveness, none of us could have any hope whatsoever, but we do have hope. We've received his forgiveness, if indeed we have, and therefore the darkness is not like the darkness of the sea billows rolling over us as it drags us down to our deaths and demise and certain defeat before the judge. I'm mixing all sorts of metaphors here. But instead of that hopeless darkness, now we have hope in the midst of the night, knowing that the morning is coming. And so hope in the Lord. because with the Lord there is steadfast love. There's that kind of key term coming through again, the chesed of our God, plentiful redemption. He will redeem his people from their sins. It's a great psalm, isn't it? Psalm 130. Be sure to appreciate it for yourself, but also share it with others too.